Bob Huber, Vintage Lambo. Well, it's time for us to get back on the lathe. I need to be able to install this seal into the differential. So you can see that it's going to go here. It's going to slide onto that eventually. So we need to go ahead and make that and chop this down. 6 inches, I'm going to be using 5 inches, and then I'll cut it all on my lathe. So that's not the difficult problem. The difficult problem is going to be with getting this on, and these splines do not seem to be really matched with the differential. Well, I've got the slug down to a 5 inch. I think it's about 3 1/4. This chuck will go about 3 1/2. That's it. So this is pretty much kind of the max piece that I run on this little lathe. And so we're going to, first I went and I just tried to get this to run as true as possible. I'm going to just cut a face on this, and then I'm going to put my center in here, and then I'm going to cut this outside a bit, get it all shaped up so that I could flip it, and then I will then butt it up against the chuck, and then I'll have a real good steady piece. So anyway, this one I just kind of do it gingerly, and that's the story. All right, so I'm finished up on this side so I can have a good bite with the chuck and then have a good flat surface here. So I should be able to hold it in really nice, flip it over. You can see how I didn't have to take off too much metal from this, so it worked out really well that McMaster had a 3 1/4 inch round for me to bring it down to about 310. Okay, here's one of these circumstances. I want to go in deep, but my drill bit, the flutes run out before I really need to go in. I have another 1/2 inch with no flutes, so I have to go in a little bit, pull out, go back in, because these flutes will just fill up on you. So essentially, I mean, it's not the best thing I want to do, but it's something I've got to do. So I've got about another 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. So just go in enough, and you can sense if it gets clogged, but you want to do that before that happens. Back off a little bit, come out, and then that'll clean it out. Go back in, and just repeat until you can get the depth that you want. So I'm using the max of my tools right now, maybe a little bit extra max. Okay, I'm done with the drill bits. I'm essentially about a 1 inch is what I've gone. I need to bore this out now, approximately 1/4 of an inch to get the final number on it. So everything's going well. Again, I exceeded the flutes on each one. I went up to this point right here. But again, every drill, that's how it is. You go in, you back it out, clean out the flutes. Go back in, back out, back in, back out, and it works out okay. No jams, no nothing. So everything's good, and we'll catch you after the boring. Okay, so now that I've had this set in so I get the maximum support of this boring bar, the actual hole size now is about 1 inch 20 thousandths, so that's great to the majority of that, and I know that the rest of the end, the threaded portion, will fit into the relief that I've already put in here. So now I need to go up to this point here and bore this out to about 1 1/4. I've got the specs here up on my shield up there, so we'll continue on. Okay, so we have it bored to the final, and it worked out really well. The last boring pass, well, not the last, the one before, I got it within 2 thousandths, and then I just, because of the flex on here, I just ran it through super slow and back, and I'm spot on the dimensions. So I was really happy with that. I mean, plus or minus a thousandths would have been just fine. Okay, we're done with the business end of this, and let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see what I did. I put my typical groove right in here so I don't have any problem with the seal, and everything is rounded a bit so I don't have any problem as far as that. I have this so it just fits onto the seal. I still have this gap. There's a shim that's in there, so there's no chance of me hitting the bearing when I install this. So you can see that this bearing is still, I'm not bearing, but the seal is the diameter, and this is a little bit smaller, so I shouldn't have any problem on that end. So now I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to hog out meat that I just don't need, and just to make it easier to handle. Okay, I'm just about to hog this out of unnecessary metal, and also so that you could actually, if you want to put your hand on it, maneuver a little bit. So I'm going to take this diameter down and just relieve this. Be a little bit lighter tool, but it'll still be very strong where it needs to be strong. I have to also be careful because I'm running this in this 3-dot chuck, and you can see when this thing spins, I don't want it to hit this. So you got to be careful, especially on, of course, a small lathe like this, that you don't go and bam the chuck. So everything's set up. I definitely have some clearance, so I'm okay. I'm just setting my stop to make sure I don't do anything crazy, and that's it. So I'll just start turning this down. Okay, took a little bit of machining stuff off, so you can see I have a heap of stuff down here. But anyway, I think it's going to work out pretty good. Okay, we have a new Lamborghini tool. And you know, I'm very happy with this. This is just this is what I really want, you know. So I just did it. Let's make it. You know, universal seal installers are just that. They're good at not being exactly what you want. So I made this. It's one piece. It's exactly what I want. It's exactly what's going to make a perfect fit for the seal to go on. You know, I have it set up, everything's good. When that input shaft goes in here, it's going to make it such a dream just to go straight in. So it's going to be perfect every time. So very happy with this new tool. And here's the little brother. That's the one we made for the back of the transmission seal. So very happy with those. Now, the situation on this is really the trouble. I'm going to have to try and blueprint this area in here because it was exceedingly difficult to pull this off, and that is just unheard of. So I have to find out what the story on the splines are. Now, Lamborghini, low production, they fit this to this. So this one says 27 here. This should say 27. So I don't know if that's the case because I can't see the number on the input shaft, but it is what it is. I want it to go on better, so I'm going to try and find out what the situation is with these splines, see what I can do. I'm hoping it's burrs and whatnot, and maybe this is correct for this. I'm hoping so. Normally they mark it so that it goes on, you know, one way, and there is a mark right here. So trying to find the alignment of that, if that is true or not. I'm going to find whatever the best is to go on. Normally it's just one, and then it slips right in. But my gosh, way too tough to take this out. So it's a little bit scary on this one. Challenging. I am most likely going to have to build a tool to install this in. I'm not going to use a hammer on this thing. I'm not going to do anything crazy like that. I have to be gentle on installing everything on Lamborghinis, and that's what I'm going to be doing. But next video, of course, that's if you're listening still, will be on the carburetor, and we'll be machining the sealing surface at the bottom of the float bowl where the plate attaches, so that we have a perfect seal on these carburetors and no gas leaks. So tune in for that. I'll have this video up shortly, and then within 24 hours, I will have the carburetor video up. So please stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye now.